What's up, everybody? It is the year 2000X, and I have been staring at Mega Man artwork tiles for way too long now. What did I do? Well, I worked on all the stuff I already had, and I have Metal Man's level from Mega Man 2. Actually, it's not the whole level, it's just a little bit of it. But I did this so that I can show you how all of my stuff has worked, and like I mentioned last time, I wanted to be able to reproduce an 8-bit style video game level. By doing that, I know that I could create something authentic to what the NES was capable of with my own levels. I decided not to go through and create this whole level because it would just take a lot of time to drag these tiles into position, time which is better spent on creating something unique and original, namely my own retro game. So, I have the save and load map features working just fine. What this does is saves everything I've placed to a file. Let me see if I can show you that file. Nah. Okay, here it is. So it saves the player's start position in X and Y coordinates in the map, and it saves map zones. This is what happens when I get to the edge of the screen, and just like in Mega Man, or if you think Zelda 1, the overworld, how that worked, I get to the edge of the screen and blam, it pans nicely over and looks awesome. So those are defined in this map file right here. The first one's the coordinates are X and Y, the width is 2000 pixels and the height's 2000 pixels. These are straight up rectangles in C#. And then the next one begins 1 pixel previous. Actually, I could make it 2000. It wouldn't matter if it was the same one, but I have a bunch of tricky logic where it's just along with the player collision, it'll detect which map zone the player is in, and when the players hit a new zone, it switches to that zone, more or less, and it does that by moving a certain speed that I defined every frame. It updates until the camera is entirely within that new zone, and then we're all set. So it actually moves back and forth between zones. Right now it doesn't smoothly pan over when I go back to the left, but I'm going to change that and also make that work for when they go down into a new zone. Anywho, let me show you a little bit about the toolbar. Let me just clear this out and restart. And whoops, F5. And there we go. So if I hit E, I get my map editor with my save and load map buttons. I also get my tile toolbar, which you can see has the left and right, and I can just drag anything out here into the map, and it works great. These tiles, of course, are on the background layer instead of the collision layer. So I'll show you some of the colliding tiles here again. Alright, so you can see it doesn't go through the ones that are on the background layer. And this was pretty tricky to do, but basically I have this file for all my tile data, and I set this up. C indicates a tile that the player will collide with, meaning the collision layer. B is the background layer. And I name it, which it uses the name to pull the original PNG graphic file into the application. Then I define a height and width. These are for the bounding box. It actually, I believe, gets the height and width from the image file itself. I think. My brain's kind of tired from all this programming, so don't quote me on that. Then also, if one is animated, I just have this word animated and an interval in milliseconds, which a timer uses to switch to the frame that's the same name plus 2. So like arrow block left will be this one. Every 170 milliseconds, or however often it is, it switches to arrow block left 2.png. So that's an easy way that I set up, just switching between 2 frames to back and forth animate a tile on a timetable of my choosing. So everything loads automatically into this toolbar. I used to have a problem where I'd try to drag a tile out and it would grab the thing behind it, but all I did was I added a check. I don't know if I can show you where that is. Where the hell is that anyway? It's probably in here under, oh well, I don't know where it is. But basically it says, in the order of everything for mouse input, check the toolbar, check the editor, then check all the map tiles. And I just had a test in there that says, if the toolbar is held down, then don't check the map tiles. So that way it's just, giving priority to interface elements over the map tiles themselves, which then they require there's a bug on me. They require the tile toolbar or the map editor active to move. See, right now I can't move or remove them, whereas now I can completely do that and remove everything the way that I want to. So let me load my map back up, and this is just really a combination of all of these elements. I've got the toolbar, which lets me scroll back and forth among all the tiles that I have defined and prepared. I can move the toolbar around, and it's really quite excellent. And then I can save and load maps. The other feature that I had anticipated and very quickly saw would be necessary, there we go, is the ability to duplicate tiles. For example, say I'm working on this this conveyor belt right here, and it's a pain in the butt. I'm not going to go to this toolbar and continually drag these guys out here. You see, I have two different versions that I had going here. Anyway, that's going to be way too time consuming. So all I do is I hold down Shift, I click and drag, and then I just drag a new tile right out, as you can see, which is most excellent. So that saves me a lot of time in preparing an 8-bit style level, because in any game you look at on the Nintendo, there's not going to be a great deal of graphics in a level. I mean, I know it looks like a lot right here in this tile toolbar, like there's a lot of stuff going on in this level, but you can see on this screen from Metal Man's level, you've got this long gear, you've got these two blocks that make up the supports, and you've got a few things in the background and some conveyors. Other than that, there's really nothing. So it's a lot of dragging the same tiles into position. So I found that the shift, click, and drag was really the easiest method to go with to get that done. So what's next? Well, next I'm gonna have a sit down with Honeybee, and I will tell her all about the map level ideas that I have, because I pretty much have my whole game mapped out in terms of characters and power-ups and story and all the stages and environments of the game. So I'm going to sit down with her and give her the vision that I've got for them, and then she'll put her own spin on it and give me some artwork. And I will begin actually creating my own levels instead of duplicating someone else's. So that's going to be pretty excellent, because from then on I'll be able to start adding enemies, I'll be able to start adding, you know, game events, interface, player weaponry, the NPC type characters, all the interactions of all of those things, how you get from one level to the next, and the game flow and the AI and everything like that. So I think that the levels was a good place to get my foot in the door, because now I can sort of build on top of those, and I can then start adding all of these other elements on top of that, and just keep adding these layers. And you know, it's the best idea I had, because I haven't done this before, but it's worked out really, really well, and I'm very happy with how everything has gone thus far. That's all I can think about to talk about right now. If you have any questions about any of these things that I've done, please feel free to leave a comment and ask me the question, and I can address it in the comment section or in the next video. And I look forward to hearing your positive and encouraging comments. If you're working on a project of your own, I hope you're having a lot of good luck with it, and you can let me know, and I'll be happy to have a look at it too. So until next time, check me out on Twitter if you're on Twitter, and take it easy.